Wow, that is a tough act to follow for all of us. And I think now we're excited to close our program today with our keynote speakers, Bob and Sarah Rothschild. And I guarantee you, Tasha, you did not steal my speech. That was not what I had intended. Oh, as a San Francisco native, Bob Rothschild earned his BS in electrical engineering from Oregon State University, followed by his MS in civil engineering from Stanford. After working for the U.S. Public Health Service in Washington, D.C., and as a construction engineer in California, Bob moved to Ohio, where he and his wife, Sarah, became co-owners of the Robert Rothschild Farms, specializing in raspberry production. Sarah grew up in Michigan, and actually, if we had been a little bit closer in age, we would have gone to the same high school north of Detroit. Graduated from University of Michigan with a BS in nursing. Prior to establishing the Robert Rothschild Farm with Bob, she worked as a public health nurse in the Detroit area, worked with Planned Parenthood mobile clinics, and worked at the Stanford Children's Hospital. Once in Ohio, Sarah returned to school, obtaining her MS in community health nursing and education and a PhD in human ecology from Ohio State. Sarah taught at both Ohio State and Otterbein College. Sarah and Bob co-founded their nonprofit Family Foundation in 2005 with the goal of building 20 libraries in small villages in Botswana as a donation to the citizens. In partnering with Botswanan government, Bob and Sarah's work empowers the local people to overcome limitations in access to information and knowledge by providing books, furniture, equipment, and a building in which to use these assets. The Rothschild Foundation libraries are unique libraries that work in partnership with local governments and communities. Bob and Sarah split their time between their homes in New Hampshire and in Botswana. Please join me in welcoming Bob and Sarah Rothschild.
Little change of pace. First of all, I would like to thank the mortgages and the trustees of the center for this invitation to participate with you today. Are you hearing me okay? Okay, then I can move away. This has been, as I said yesterday, way too exciting for me. I don't lead this exciting of a life most of the time. I'm talking about being here, because we have not before been among a group of people like we have found here who are so interested and excited about the idea of global service and international learning and the projects that we have heard about today. So that has been absolutely exciting and inspiring for us, and we are very humbled to be here. I would like to just start off with a quote. This is something that many of you will recognize, and it's from an American writer, Edward Everett Hale. Many of you will recognize this. He said, "I am only one, but I am one. I'm only one, but I am one." And this leads me into the story of how we became involved in building libraries in Botswana. And no, this is not a library. In 2005, we decided to take the plunge, and this is Botswana. This is one of our adventures. I should probably explain that we did get out of this okay. Someone else was taking the picture. A friend of ours had gone through some deep water with his Land Rover, and he got to the other side, got out, and started taking pictures of us going through. And Bob decided the faster the better. And so he plunged into the water, and we stopped, and the air filter got soaked. Fortunately, somehow he backed up, then he went forward, and the car still did run, but it took 2 days to dry out the air filter. This slide really brings to mind sort of our experience in Botswana. And there are 3 things I'd just like to say about it. One, we sometimes found ourselves in unexpected circumstances. We sometimes find ourselves going too fast and we need to back up. And third, we try to learn from our mistakes. And so I would like to get on with the story of how we got started. I will tell the story in, I think I'm allotted 4 minutes. And then Bob will tell exactly what we're doing in Botswana and a little bit about it. I think he gets 25 minutes. And that will leave me about 1 minute to sum up. Okay, back to the story. Okay. Would you like to hear the end of the quote? "I'm only one, but I am one. I can't do everything, but I can do something. The something I ought to do, I can do. and by the grace of God, I will. And so in 2004, I would like to now have us look at the world and have you try to search for Botswana there. And I'm expecting that all of you can see where it is, and I'll point it out if not. We went to visit friends in South Africa. Okay, now you can see Botswana. Bordered by Namibia, Zimbabwe, Zambia, a little tiny corner, South Africa. We went to visit friends, John and Carol Thompson. John was from England, Carol grew up in South Africa, and each winter they would spend 3 to 4 months in Cape Town. One Sunday, I believe it was the year 2000, they were looking at the newspaper and saw an ad for a woman in Massapumalele. This is a township near where they lived, and she was trying to find a hand-cranked cement mixer. She wanted to build a small daycare center. So John and Carol thought about it and decided we can do that. And they went to meet her. One thing led to another, and they saw other things they could do to facilitate educational and economic opportunities in this township. There were approximately 30,000 people living in a very small area that had been sectioned off during apartheid. And the Thompsons were able to raise funds for a one-room library. And by the time we visited in 2004, they were desperate for more space. At this time, we were in the process of selling our gourmet food company and setting up a family foundation. And we decided we could donate that addition. The original library is on the right, and the addition is on the left. Also, I think secretly Bob was eager to get back to a construction project. So the next year, he went off to Cape Town to help build the addition. And at that time, I joined a group of, this shows the interior of that library. And it, at times, was just much more crowded than that. We really enjoyed that time there. The Habitat group was composed mostly of women, and we were mostly over 60. And we went to Matlako, a rural village with no electricity and no running water, but it was a beautiful place. And it was the people were just absolutely warm, they were kind, they were hospitable, they were generous with us. They had built us a concrete wall so that we could take our showers from these bags that we hung up behind this wall, so we had a little bit of privacy. We were sort of right in the center of the village. They cooked for us over a fire, and they sang for us. They took us to their church service, which was held under a tree, and they got to know us, and they let us get to know them. They celebrated with us when we completed 2 houses. And one night we had a discussion about how much we were learning by being a part of this village. And a friend said, Sarah, Bob is building a library in South Africa. He should come here to build one. And we looked around and decided the resource of a small library might be really a good resource for this community. So anyway, the seed of an idea was planted, and we began to learn about this amazing country that is only 45 years old. We heard about their vision for the year 2016, which is that they will be an informed and educated nation. And after countless communications, Bob took a trip to Botswana, and we developed a memorandum of understanding with the government. We would build the village libraries, and they would provide the books, the staff, and the maintenance. So we committed to building 2 libraries per year for 10 years. We completed the first library in 2007. This is it. And John and Tasha have been there. Your slides are coming. And in November, we will see the opening of the 8th. And I think it would be a good idea now for me to show you on the map of Botswana where the libraries are. If I can get this to work. In the south, right around the capital city of Gaborone, those were the first 3. The next 2 were in this area, and the advantage of having 2 libraries close together is that they can share resources. For example, they have one truck that they share back and forth with each other. The next one was over here. That's the 6th one, Malalatau, way in the eastern part of the country. And then The next one was down here in Pitsani Malopo on the South African border. And then the one we're going to see the opening of will be in Morai Maoto, which is on the edge of the Okavango Delta. And the next one to be started in January is in Shakawe, and that is way up on the Namibian border. You can see the light green, and Botswana is amazing in many ways, but one amazing way is that they have protected their wildlife. And what you see in green is all the areas where the wildlife are protected. And right in the middle, where the Botswana word is, that is the Kalahari Game Reserve. And I think it would be a good idea for Bob to tell you now his part. Did I take more than 4 minutes? Okay, I'll put this here.
What happened to my thing
Oh
here?
my gosh. Oh dear. You're supposed to put that in your pocket or something.
Yeah. Thank you. Bait, huh? It might be more than that. I don't know. No, it'll be. You'll have a good time. I just hope you live through it. I first of all would like to thank John and Tasha for inviting us here also. And isn't it unbelievable, and that isn't even the right word, how two people can have such a major impact on being a catalyst for helping people develop their potential. And all the people that they have helped or indirectly helped would be in the thousands. You can't measure what's happening at the University of Wisconsin. I think it has an impact all over the world. And it certainly has had an impact on us. And I think, again, I just thank them for having the courage to ask us to speak. and the getting out of their box to do what they do. They certainly could be doing many other things besides what they do, and I would say probably 60, 70, 80% of their time is devoted to making sure other people have, the opportunities that they've had, and I still commend you for that very much. Thank you. I'd also like to thank Nancy for working very closely with Nancy on coming here to give our talk. She's been very helpful and supportive, and we've had many collaborational talks about what we shouldn't say. I also would like to thank Carly for organizing this and doing such a good job in making it seamless. I think you all know that it's not easy to put on a full-day program, or actually it's more than a full-day program, it's over several days, and she's done a great job. Thank you. Much to my surprise, the ambassador to Botswana, the retired ambassador to Botswana from the United States, is with us today. Would you please stand up?
John Lang. Bob. John Lang.
What?
John Lang.
Yeah. It's Ambassador John Lang. He was ambassador, I believe, in the late 1990s, or early 1990s, is that correct? Late 1990s. And he knows many of since he's been ambassador, there's been 3 ambassadors, and we are very close to the U.S. Embassy where we live, and have developed, with the last ambassador that just left, because they stay for generally 3 years, we've had a very close relationship. In fact, the person that took the picture of us plunging into the water was Ambassador Nolan. So we've had quite a close relationship. He almost had to bail us out. I think one of the things I'd like to do before we get into the depth of what I'm going to talk to for the next 4 hours is you're asking yourself the question, why are you here? Why are you interested in community and public service? And I think it's a very complex question, because I don't think many of you may know why you're here, but you feel it's the right thing to do. It could be because of your parents. It could be because of a mentor. It could be because of your religious beliefs. It could be that you were born with a certain public service gene. Maybe the Department of Biology could figure that out. Or you were influenced by the Mortgage Center. Or none of the above. I think every one of you has a different answer, but I think it's an important question to always ask yourself to keep you on track. Why are you here? Why are you interested in public service? And I'm not sure, it's not something that you're born with.